I'm Pat Graham and I'm a family carer to my daughter Lauren, who has a profound learning disability. I'm also the chair of the board of a charity called PAMIS, which supports people with profound and multiple learning disabilities and their families and carers. A group of universities across the UK has launched a new study to find out more about the lives of adults with learning disabilities through the coronavirus pandemic. In Scotland, researchers at the University of Glasgow are working with PAMIS and the Scottish Commission for Learning Disabilities to hear from people with learning disabilities and their carers in Scotland and to have their experiences heard. The researchers would like to speak to 200 adults with a learning disability in Scotland who are aged 16 and over about their experiences during the coronavirus pandemic. The researchers would like to speak to you 3 times across the next year. They can speak to you on the telephone, WhatsApp, Zoom or any other way that you'd prefer. Some adults with learning disabilities will need someone else to answer questions on their behalf. The researchers would like to speak to a family carer or member of support staff of these adults. Carers will be invited to fill in an online survey 3 times during the next year to see if anything changes for that person. The online survey should take around 30 minutes to complete, and it will ask questions about different aspects of the life of the person you care for. There will be questions about health, well-being, finance and support. And the survey will also ask some questions about you and what it's been like to care for someone during a pandemic. The researchers will share the information that they find out during this study with people with learning disabilities, their families, policymakers and services to promote the voices of people with learning disabilities and their families during this challenging time. I'll be taking part in this study on behalf of Lauren because even though she's unable to speak for herself, it's really important that her voice is heard. She lives in supported accommodation and has always had an active and interesting life outside of her house and would come to visit the family home several times a week. Of course, all of that stopped immediately when we went into the first lockdown, and Lauren would never have been able to understand why her life had changed dramatically overnight. Despite the best efforts of her staff, she experienced real emotional trauma as a result. She didn't want to eat or drink or do anything. She lost all her energy and motivation and just seemed sad and sleepy all the time. Several months into lockdown, her care provider decided that she needed to have visits to the family home for her mental well-being, and she's been having home visits ever since. She's still not back to her normal perky self, although she is dramatically better. But we know that many other families in Lauren's situation are still not being allowed proper access to their families, and the outcome of this is devastating for all concerned. If you would like to take part and talk about your experiences or have any questions about the study, please contact Brenda Garrard from PAMIS or the research team on the contact details below. You can also find out more about the studying by visiting the project website. We'll really look forward to hearing from you. Thanks for listening.